Lately, so many people have been asking me, why does it feel like I'm dying? Either my old self, part of my life, my patterns, my perspectives, they feel like they're falling away. And I'm afraid of this future because I have no way of identifying with this unknown that's on the other side of the loss of my old self. This is a part of the experience, but of course, everything that's happening on the microcosmic level is a reflection and a part of a larger macrocosmic collective goal. What's really happening is not the death of self in its entirety, it's the death of the mental self, the mentally constructed version that's held together by this psychic gravity bringing us into the false expectations and conditions and elements in our reality that have been scripted, coming from, of course, impermanence. All of these things that are currently being collapsed are tied to the illusion of the reality that you may have been living. Hence, you might feel like your mental concept of reality is completely now lost and you are unable to attach to it because what we're feeling entering our personal experience is a new frequency. This frequency is actually one that has been accessible to us all along. And if you're now feeling this energy of some death or transformation in certain aspects of your life or in yourself, then what's actually most accessible to you is your own truth. See, if you feel this energy of a massive transformation, you have already been transforming. This is not news or something completely new coming to the surface. You're only able to perceive this depth of the inner experience because you've already been doing the work to remove everything creating density, falsity, illusory control or attachment, keeping you stuck in a state of fear. In other words, if you now feel like something in you is pulling you in a new direction, it's because you've already created the space to allow for this new center of gravity to be brought into your personal field. On a macrocosmic level, though, the Earth, Gaia, is this harmonic intelligence that has been trying to recalibrate its own field because so much has already been convoluted in the collective experience. Obviously, there's so much duality, polarity, and energies that right now are mismatched on the Earth field. But at the same time, this collective, phase-based awakening is happening. Not everybody is awakening at the same time. And of course, many people on Earth right now have no sense of death or a part of them transforming into a higher aspect of the self, because many are too busy still holding on to everything that allows for this illusion of control and separation and fixation in the realm of materialism. So they are not noticing this energetic, subtle shift that many people, and likely even you if you're watching this video, may be experiencing. The subtle shift we're feeling into is like a harmonic induction current coming from Gaia's harmonic intelligent field itself that is causing us to enter a state of vibrational alignment with this new frequency. So imagine it like this. All of us are these tuning forks, and if we've already been doing the work to confront silence as wisdom, to allow ourselves to rebirth when we feel new energies, opportunities, and aspects of us coming to the surface that want to be integrated, then we're going to be entering a state of resonance when exposed to this frequency, because our tuning fork, so to speak, is able to be in that state of resonance. This feeling of an energetic wave flooding the collective consciousness is causing many people to actually enter a space of deconstruction, because what's illuminated immediately is everything within the self that has been held together by this falsity, or by anything that doesn't actually allow the soul to be present and to be heard, related to, and become an active participant in reality. Right now, what you may be feeling are a lot of different kinds of emotions, thoughts, and feelings, either uncertainty or certainty about everything that you don't want in your life. You may feel like you're very clear on everything, that you are ready to transcend, and yet the future is full of question marks. maybe unknowns, or maybe certain fears because you're not used to approaching reality in the style of your higher self's creation. What's being revealed is that there's a harmonic template inside every single one of us that knows how to operate in this new paradigm. But in order to move into it with surrender, with ease, grace, and awareness, we have to be willing to surrender everything that we know is old news. Everything that feels outdated or that we are highly aware now is limiting us, because all of that is also connected to the collective shadow. Quite predictably, during these times that feel like a collective dark night of the soul, we reach a threshold point where everything that has been creating this density and a lower frequency state in our inner and outer realities is made more apparent. For this reason, triggers can be heightened. The nervous system can be more responsive. You may feel a need to experience either withdrawal or have a desire to pull for traditional coping mechanisms or elements that have brought you comfort in the past. However, something might be inspiring you at this time to move away from what in the past has brought you this kind of false comfort, and your mind doesn't know how to explain this. It's as if you're already responding with the wisdom and maturity of a soul that has transcended certain karmic obstacles and that has an acute awareness of all that needs to be released in order to enter a totally new state of consciousness and paradigm. This is the awareness that's non-local, that's in the field, that's already accessible to us as part of our morphogenetic potential. However, we can't feel this if we're still afraid of entering this highly in tune and intuitive version of ourselves. This is what right now is being evoked and offered as an invitation for all of us that are feeling this kind of energetic shift. What you may be feeling is actually a conglomerate of different elements of your past lives, past timelines, past versions of you, and seeing different situations, both individual and collective, play out in your field that bring you into an emotional state of empathizing with all of these unprocessed aspects of yourself. You may feel like you are living multiple lives at the same time because everything that has been karmically held within the field, suppressed, or energetically pushed down to the point of dissociation now is coming back up in order to be fully integrated. That's the only way for the healing process to fully work through us as a form of alchemy and true acceptance on all these layers of the self and reality. So whatever you right now feel, especially haunting you, triggering you, or coming up to the surface as something that you know you cannot relieve through traditional means, really needs to be paid attention to. Because if you think about the importance of really honoring everything in the present experience, especially in such a collectively charged time, this right here, right now, is the stuff that must be worked through for your evolutionary process to continue. There's no reason to seek beyond yourself or beyond anything that is currently filling your field of focus, including your physical body, your emotional body, and your mental body, and especially what's allowing the catalysis from a more spiritual place of deep knowing and understanding. There's a rapid shift from the linear continuum of time and our experience to a spiralic continuum. Healing right now for many people feels extremely spiralic in nature, meaning that if you let yourself collapse this mental structure and perceive healing, yourself, transformation, and even the essence of your experience here in a more fluid, feminine way, everything becomes easier and transformation unfolds completely differently. This is not because, again, you are mentally changing your beliefs to allow the experience to seem different. It's actually becoming a completely different style of relating with reality because you're letting yourself reconnect with the fundamental harmonic order that has always been accessible within you. More than likely, certain clarity has already been coming into your field. Think the last couple of months or so. There have been certain revelations, signs, potent dreams, messages, inner visions, and deep feelings, inspiring you to see the world through different eyes. This is the choice, however. If you still need more confirmations, more validation, or if you want to keep externalizing the transformative process to the universe, source, or to somebody else, or if you're ready to finally collapse the distinction between yourself and the cosmic creation. The message for many right now is subtle, to allow for synchrony to come back into play the way that it always was present before the mind intervened. Before trauma erupted into our experience, before Earth incurred wars and conflicts and divisiveness, there was a fundamental reality of wholeness, where everything knows how to repair itself naturally. The body knows how to heal without any kind of advanced intervention or complexity. Many of us are awakening to the subtle energy that in order for there to be peace and love and deep connection in life, we need to allow in simplicity, presence, silence, surrender, and a softer energy to our experience. We need to even redefine the goals from something super elusive and outside of us to going really deep into our own 0 point, that true 0 point, where there no longer is an outdated, psychic, externalized structure guiding us into disillusionment and falsity, and instead allow ourselves to naturally harmonize with that signal of our pure soul signature, which has always been there, waiting for us to feel it and hear it and learn to resonate back in tune with it, so that it can begin to naturally reorganize our life when we come into alignment with that harmonic order. And this is something that's challenging because many people don't want to accept the simplicity of all of it. If you try to battle this process, it's going to feel unnecessarily difficult, and you might even develop a new inner witness that is causing you to doubt or gaslight yourself because you don't want to listen to the clarity and simplicity of your inner voice. That, however, is the inner voice of truth, and it's already resonating with the truth that is being channeled into the entire collective field in an attempt for Gaia's collective experience to reset, for more souls to come into a space of true love and unity within themselves so that each of us can become beacons of light and truth to raise the threshold frequency, allowing others to awaken, heal, and find their true selves. For that to happen, each of us need to allow ourselves to sustain the frequency of authenticity, simplicity, and wholeness. Of course, it's easier said than done. However, it is something that is really appealing to many of us, and yet we're afraid of the implications of choosing this completely new reality. Something very paradoxical is being revealed through all of this. Many of us have been living in a backwards reality, where we think the mind is the controller and we are victimized beneath it. We think trauma is something that we must be healing through difficulty and something we have to submit to on a certain level because we're frozen in the perception that this trauma has created. We may also feel that life has to be difficult to some degree because we've been so conditioned to believe in this kind of mental perception of reality that we can't even find another way to experience ourselves. And yet the backwards aspect is that it never had to be this way, and actually originally wasn't. From a higher source level perspective, everything is meant to be in flow, and divine order feels like a certain ease and alignment and clarity and knowing, which when acted upon always restores more order and alignment in the outer sphere. Our challenge right now is to remember the feeling of us before everything's set into motion in our experience that now creates the disillusionment, the distraction, and the disorder. If you're right now feeling like there are two different ways of perceiving life through the lens of this new emergent quality of consciousness, which allows you to see the world through this simplicity, fluidity, and deep interconnection, versus how you've been perhaps taught to see the world and what you felt safe relating with in the past, then this is the choice. If you're right now feeling that you have these multiple ways of relating to yourself and the world, and there's still fear keeping you in a state of limbo, the choice is actually very simple to make. You have a prior self that you already identify as the wounded one, the one that holds your shadow and everything that is keeping you limited in nature. You have to allow yourself to release the weight and the burden that your attachment to this former version of yourself is causing, because the weight of that self is beyond you. It also includes the generational weight, the stagnation, the collective energies of fear, guilt, shame, and anything diseased within your own field that can easily be let go of if you allow yourself to feel the wholeness on the other side of it. Many of us are maintaining this kind of psychic illusion, creating density, because we're afraid of what lightness actually allows us to experience. It's ironic, I know, but it's something that is deeply permeating many of us because we fear the changes that have to be made when we choose love and alignment for ourselves. We fear how deeply we begin to feel when we allow ourselves to choose this route of our heart's consciousness, and when we give ourselves to the more unorthodox way to go about our lives. It's a completely different reality that many people are feeling on the edge of now fully surrendering to. However, it's something that we never will know how to experience unless we give ourselves to it fully. We can't be in between anymore. This liminality has to end, because that's the pressure that many of us are feeling. If you feel like you're dying, you're really going through this cosmic birth canal right now. And it's something that's creating tremendous pressure because you might still be resisting fully entering the other side and being extremely clear about who you are now that you've laid to rest everything that has been dysfunctional and wounded in your past. We have to be willing to, through this process, completely alchemize pain, resistance, bitterness, and let go of anything that has been feeding that inner victim that doesn't actually want us to transcend or fully awaken. It kind of takes crucifying ourselves before the reality that we fear can crucify us. This is like a transcendence before the cause for transcendence necessarily arises, because what many are still holding on to is the lack of responsibility that they feel about this awakening journey. You might feel that something needs to awaken you into taking the next step, or that there will be a higher level cause for the transformation that you're ready to go through. But that cause is already here. Everything that you need to feel is being enlivened through your field at this time. And if you allow yourself to fully feel it and to witness what is emerging, the answer will be clear. You will know what to do, and you will feel, most importantly, very loving energy beneath all of that, that's teaching us a new way to love, a new way to be and to exist in harmony with all forms of life, because that's the goal of this collective shift, to reawaken us to a kind of natural coexistence, to unity consciousness that makes us no longer struggle to prove ourselves or to be afraid of being an awakened individual. Because really, there's nothing to awaken to other than the default state that everything was always meant to exist in. If you feel like you are currently dying in some ways, it's because you're being born. And that's a beautiful process to celebrate if you let yourself fully indulge in the energy of newness and drop everything that has been weighing you down, as it's time to fully give yourself to the light that we're all being reintroduced to.